Hey guys, here with a rare double upload. I just saw this a couple minutes ago, and I had to say something because this is just like completely and totally ridiculous. So, PC Gamer has a review for RimWorld. Now, for any of you guys who don't know what RimWorld is, it is a game that's kind of like a Dwarf Fortress Lite. It's a colony management sim or simulator. And basically the game has events that it can throw at you, and they get more difficult as the game goes on. And no two games are the same, right? Actually, it's a fantastic game, and I highly recommend it. But anyways, let's look at this PC Gamer review of RimWorld. So I'm looking at the archive link. So what we have here is this is from PC Gamer, the UK issue. And I have a couple issues with this review, and we'll get to that. So he does an okay job describing it. The best games are masters of illusion, make you believe a bunch of code and scripted behaviors are somehow real worlds or great stories, even a game that's explicitly driven by values and numbers. Abstractness presentation has to convince you that what you're watching unfold is an organic ecosystem. RimWorld aims to create complex drama from its systems, but as close as it sometimes gets, the illusion never quite takes hold. So it gives you a brief idea of what the game is, and where his review kind of runs afoul. Because I mean, at this point, it's all subjective at this point. But then he comes into here. Let's find here. Yeah, here we go. There are some peculiar aspects to this approach to character generation, though. So, and what he's referring to is the fact that, all these characters or pawns are, they're called in the game pawns, I believe, is that their traits are randomly generated. And it could be something, that they're a drug addict, or they're missing a leg, or they have scars, or they could hate women, or they could hate men. They could be very Puritan and a teetotaler, or they just like no drugs. And then you may have some that are like totally just like, hey, let's do all the drugs. So also every character is very unique. So he continues, each character gets 3 traits, things like obsessive, lazy, or misogynist. One of the modifiers is gay, but straight isn't. That's just the default, which is painfully heteronormative and outdated for a game about the far-flung future. Other aspects of queerness are included, but in equally reductive ways, like a character's backstory discussing that they're transgender, proof of which being their dressing up in their mother's clothes as a child. All of which leaves a bit of bad taste in the mouth. It feels odd to have some traits sat alongside each other, misogyny next to ugly, hardworking next to psychopath. These things are not alike, but placed in the character generator with equal importance. And that's the thing, though, is that it's all 100%, 100% random, right? So yes, it's true if your character does not have the gay, trait, then they're straight. But the thing is, though, is that you have traits where they may, not be romantically involved. They may not be romantically involved with anybody. There are characters that hate someone who is ugly. They may hate somebody who is, a passive character. So, and the thing is, like, if you're getting hardworking next to psychopath, that's random. You could get misogyny and hardworking together. You can get misogyny and lesbian or gay together. It's 100% random. At this point, this person, this quote-unquote journalist, is just looking for something to nitpick on. While the system gives you vivid images of characters like the ruthless bounty hunter who's lazy and a vegetarian, in the end, they all interact in slight variations of the same way. They don't speak in text or otherwise, and so the facets of their identity are declared in a character sheet that's fed to you through a drip feed of tiny updates. John talked about hunting with Bob. It's hardly stirring stuff and does nothing to make a colonist feel like much more than worker drones. Again, this is all random. Like, what do you want them to do? To have conversations about how Trump is bad? I mean, there's only so much you can code in a game, and especially when you're dealing with a game where everything is randomly generated, it's very hard to create systems that traits and systems and stuff like that talk to each other in something that's so random. It points to the main issue with the game's approach to character, which is to treat people as a sum of a few parts. It's not unreasonable that a game of this scale needs to have a simple system to generate characters. What I just said. And in the end result is that while you have AI that behaves in interesting ways, which goes against what you just said, but regardless, they never quite feel like real people. Kind of like, I guess, how Red Dead Redemption 2's NPCs are not, are not real people, and we should feel bad about that. As long as you're able to look past that and just enjoy the odd behavior of these robotic colonists, there's fun to be had with RimWorld's unique sandbox. And so the person goes on and on, talking about the rest of the game. But this is a non-point. This is a non-issue. It's just he's looking for a reason to nitpick about this game. If the characters... the only way this person would have been happy, well, probably not, but is if you remove any type of romance between characters, right? If you remove romance between characters, then you don't need labels like gay or straight. So essentially, what this person is doing is saying that, while you can have up to 3 traits in the game, and being gay takes up a trait, right? Being straight does not. Okay? But here's the problem is that, again, being gay is that's a minority of the population. It's a complete minority of the population. So it's going to be a minority of your character. So that makes it a quote-unquote unique trait. Just like misogyny. Anybody who's truly misogynistic is going to be a minority of the population. Thus, it's going to be a unique trait. Same thing with psychopaths. Or same thing with pyromaniacs. Pyromania is one of the traits you can have in the game. So, and what makes this a little bit more irksome, I just saw that he's using that word, about this review is the fact that it's obvious he didn't play it very long. Like, going through an entire field of potato plants to order each of them to be harvested is kind of busy work that feels needless. It's an automatic process, right? If you played the game, your pawns will harvest potatoes automatically. So I'm beginning to question how much of this game he's actually played. This is largely the boring bit. The real fun stuff happens once you've got a competent colony running and can begin to watch your colonists deal with all the manner of scenarios, building relationships with each other and then falling out. Which, again, this comes back to why these traits are in the system. Rivalries develop, infighting can happen, and that's all before you take into account all the external factors. Again, the fact that you have traits like misogynist or psychopath or hardworking is why you can have the system build relationships, or the characters within the system build relationships with each other and have falling outs and rivalries develop. Those traits drive that. It's very possible, I believe actually, that a gay pawn can try to come onto a male pawn and they will not be happy about that. Their opinion of each other will fall. So it's entirely... You can't have your cake and eat it too. You have to have these traits. For something that you just said is great about the game, you have to have those traits. So, and he gives this, a game of 74, which I think is, from my personal perspective, it's a little on the low end. It's hard for me to compare this because I'm a huge Dwarf Fortress fan. So it's hard for me to compare this game to something like Dwarf Fortress, which is a much bigger or much more in-depth game, which I don't believe has gay characters. Wait until the outrage mob hits, the developer of Dwarf Fortress. But this review is just garbage. This whole section here just didn't even need to be in the review. He's just nitpicking, looking for a reason to bash the game. Like, sitting there, he's at his desk and he's like, you know what, the game has misogyny, it has gay, it has misandry, it has all these things that are in real life. I can't complain about that, so I need to find something to complain about, because no good review goes without some kind of social justice involved. How can I do that? Oh, in some obscure way, straight isn't a trait. It's just, this is very bad. This is heteronormative. All these people playing this game are going to assume that being straight is normal and being gay is not. That's the underlying message. These developers, they are heteronormative cis scum. So it's very annoying. It's very stupid. This review is garbage. If you buy this game based off this review, I hope you did some other review, or looked at some other reviews, or go to the Steam reviews. I mean, there's an obvious reason why this is one of the most highly rated reviewed games on Steam. And again, there's the other thing, and you see this a lot with these journalists, these quote-unquote game journalists, is that they have to hate on something that's popular, right? RimWorld is one of the top-rated games on Steam for good reason. It's a brilliant game. It was a game that it did early access right, in my opinion, but it's an excellent game. And there's a bright future for it, and it's so highly reviewed. But we've got to knock it down a peg. That's what these game journos want to do. Knock it down a peg. How do we do that? They don't like gay characters. Well, you can be gay in the game, right? You have stories of children that are transgender in the game. There's no other way for me to nitpick. Oh wait, straight is not a trait. It's just the default option. So it's never going to be good enough for these game journos. And to be honest, the author of this, Sam Greer, pretty much has told me that I have no interest in any of his reviews, and if I see a review from him, I'm probably going to write it off as just complete garbage. Well, anyway, so this was a rare double upload. This kind of got my almonds activated, so I had to make a quick little post about it, but hope you guys have a good day. If you disagree with me, go ahead and leave a comment, subscribe, and hit that like button. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.